stop. So you exercise and then you stop, and then you're supposed to recover after that. Well, adrenal cases don't recover. So the more exercise they do without recovery, they actually slow down their ability to lose weight. So the benefits of exercise only occurs after the workout, when you're recovering, if you're recovering. The best exercise would be low intensity until you can actually recover. So if you're not sleeping, if you're tired, you should go very, very light, especially if you have an adrenal problem. Is it possible to get back the lost buttocks, chest, when you begin to heal? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've had people with complete atrophy on their body, and after menopause, when their body is so far down, and you start working with them, you get them sleeping, you get the energy back, the adrenals back, you get the health back, you get the food back in, and then over time, they actually get younger on the inside. I have a test that measures the biological age, and then I had a gal, I haven't seen her for a couple of years, and she came in. She was, when I first saw her, she was 211. She had a lot of health problems, atrophy, shrinkage of muscles, no butt, and she took off her coat. This was in the winter time, and my jaw dropped. I was like, what the? Let me get my camera. Gorgeous body. She gained all this muscle mass, and she looked very, very, very great. I mean, I just couldn't even believe that was her. So, yeah, it can happen, but you have to you have to not focus on the weight as a problem, but a symptom. You have to work on the inner health and get your health back. It's hard because you're so focused on the weight, but the weight always comes off as a side effect. Yeah, Lori says, I can't eat all the vegetables required. I know, because of the digestive system. So you might want to have additional vegetables. So let's say that you have a lot of bloating. I'll just mention some of the vegetables that would be good for you. So you probably can't do cruciferous, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, but what you can do is zucchini. You can do tomato, spinach. You can do squash. You can do celery, carrot, asparagus, pickles, fermented foods, sauerkraut. So yeah, you can do those vegetables, and I think you'd be fine. I know there's a lot of questions, and I know I would love to answer all of them, but there's a lot here. Is it possible to stop taking thyroid meds? Oh yeah, even after 20 years. I've had people come off. I had a 4-star general. She came off after being 20 years on Synthroid. It wasn't working, so she got better and she came off with the help of her doc, of course. I'm not telling you to come off. Does juicing give me enough fiber? I'm not opposed to vegetable juice as long as you don't add carrot or anything sweet in there. But if you want to get the nutrition from the vegetables, juice them, and because sometimes the fiber might irritate you. So that is a situation. Yes, so your weight is a symptom. Okay, what do I do when I have a thyroid problem, big all over, and just found out tonight it's probably not my primary issue? Well, here's what you do. If it's not autoimmune, okay, then it has to be a bile problem or estrogen. So if you want to find out if it's an estrogen problem, do you have any high estrogen symptoms? Do you have heavy periods? Do you have a history of fibroids? Do you have endometriosis? Do you have heavy cramps? Do you bleed? Do you have irregular periods? Do you have infertility? Do you have, if you don't have those, maybe you have a lot of bloating with your gallbladder. So find out which ones that you have a problem with and go ahead and address that and see if you get better. And you probably will. Okay, you mentioned trauma. How do you heal from trauma? I'm going to give you a little tip on that. I should probably do a whole seminar, but there's physical trauma and emotional trauma. I work on the physical, but I also work on the physical, the imprint that emotional causes on the physical, which is the adrenal. So we actually do a lot of adrenal work. We help rejuvenate the adrenal. But if you have surgery, trauma, head injuries, infections, I'm going to give you a little principle of what I do to release it. Because if you had a gallbladder surgery and you gained all this weight, and if I were to do acupressure on your gallbladder and press into your gallbladder that you don't have, that would make things worse, okay? Because you're going to traumatize the person. Or if you had a problem with the uterus and you had that out, I'm not going to press on your uterus. Or if you had a problem with your thyroid, I'm not going to press on your thyroid. So how do you release stress in the body? You would use the principle of opposites. And you can even apply this to make it more real to yourself. If you want to try a really cool experiment with a friend or family member, go ahead and find a friend or that has pain anywhere in the body. I don't care if it's in the foot, if it's in a bunion, if it's in the shoulder or the back. And let's say they have shoulder pain right here. If you were to do acupressure on the opposite side, you can get rid of this pain. You're not going to believe me unless you try it, but it will work. So anywhere where the person hurts, work on the opposite side. It's very, very simple, very powerful. Same thing goes with injuries. If you had your gallbladder out on the right side where it is, you would want to do acupressure on the left side. I'm not going to get into why that works, but it will release so much stress on your gallbladder. You just have to try it, and believe me, because it works. It'll release. It's kind of like closing down the application on your desktop. And by the way, if you had your gallbladder out, your other organs have to work twice as hard, especially the pancreas. So, yeah, so that's one thing. All right, so let's see. 5-HTP, something necessary. 5-HTP is not a bad thing to take before bed if you want to calm the adrenals and you want to help yourself sleep. So 5-HTP or L-tryptophan, those are precursors that turn into serotonin, the sleep hormone. So it's not a bad idea. I have no problem with that. I like it better than melatonin, actually. Okay, Julie, pregnancy 31, Parkinson's, fatigue, head injury severe. So you would want to find out what was it on the left, was on the top, and you want to do the opposite. And you know what's interesting? When you work on the opposite, it'll hurt twice as much on the opposite side. I know, it's, don't ask me why. Okay, rare genetic disease at 73, decreasing vision over 10 to 20 years now, and I have a huge craving for sweets, and now I'm 268 pounds. Okay, so we have that. We have, okay, fatty liver, gallstones, obstructive sleep apnea. All right. Okay, so let me just, there's a lot there to chew on, but I'm going to tell you something. If no colon, are probiotics still helpful? Yes, but if you have a fatty liver, if you have gallstones, if you have obstructive sleep apnea, there is something that I think I'd probably recommend for you, Julie, that would create more of an effect on your body, because we need to get you to sleep. We need to help you shrink the sinuses, and we really help you with your gallbladder to help it convert your thyroid so that can work. I think the most important thing to do would be to take the bile salts that I talked about, gallbladder formula, and take that for 1 week. Then add in some of the fat-soluble vitamins, because one of the things that it's very, 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 very therapeutic to the mucous membranes of the sinus is the fish oils. But the one that I really like is the fish oil called DHA. You can get it at the health food store. It's in 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams DHA, and it's a type of fish oil that's amazing. I mean, they're regenerating brain cells. It's good for memory, cognitive brain injury, but it's also good for the mucous membranes. It's good for the retina of the eye, good for sex hormones. It's good for the mucous membranes internally in your respiratory, and it's really good if you are trying to sleep and your head won't go to sleep. So if you are tired at night but your head doesn't go to sleep, take DHA and a little calcium. You can take calcium citrate, whatever, right before bed. Boom. Watch what happens. You'll go right to sleep. Okay? Because that's for like an overactive head. I have tendonitis in my wrist. Does magnetic bracelets work? I mean, they're going to affect the electrical conductivity, but try this experiment. Okay, let's say it's in the right wrist. Press on the opposite one, wherever it is on the opposite side, work that out, and it'll get rid of the pain. But you may want to try one more thing. If you hurt on the wrist on the right, you want to work on the opposite forearm muscles. Okay, that will get rid of the wrist. If you have right knee pain, work on the opposite thigh muscle. Okay, it's a little tip. I'm just kind of teaching you guys how to do acupressure. All right, so let's see. Changes his eating plan, acupressure balances condition. Okay. Looks like my assistant and Dr. Monica, Dr. J, she's on the chat, but she's not on the actual. We'll have to debug that. I'm sure that the link didn't quite work. This is kind of my first time doing this, so it's kind of a good experiment. Working out the bugs. Next time will be better. I want to do a lot of live webinars. I have some questions that I want to ask you. I know we ran out of time by a half hour, but I want to do more seminars, but I also want to find out what you want to talk about specifically, so I'm not all over the place. This kind of was just a kind of a test to see how this works. If you want me to do more seminars, I'll be happy to do it. You just have to tell me the different subjects, and I will send you a kind of a survey and ask you for some ideas on what you want me to talk about, and I will gladly do that for you. So I'll send you that in email, and you can kind of fill out something. I don't know if the chat is going to be saved, so don't bother typing in the chat. The next question that I was going to ask you is that I do want to survey one question in the chat room. Right now, I currently do weekly videos, and some people were asking me, could you do more frequent videos? I want to know if I did a short, like a 1-minute video daily, would that be something interesting, or it's too much? So if you could please answer my question, do you want weekly videos, or would you want daily short little video, a tip? Because, I mean, for the time I take doing videos, I can easily do like a short little video, because there's a lot to know. So if you can tell me what frequencies you want, once a week, or would you like daily little tiny webinars? Let me know in the chat box. I would really appreciate that. And then some people are asking me about the acupressure device. You can go to drberg.com and order them. They're definitely come in handy as a do-it-yourself, and then I show you what to do with it. I have a lot of videos on that. Daily is too much. Bruce says, yeah. So just tell me, like once a week or daily. A lot of people like weekly, some daily. Okay, good. This is helpful. Okay, good. That's cool. Good. Good. Okay, weekly. Okay, the majority is weekly, so it's going to be weekly. Yeah, I agree. 1 minute is a little bit too short. Okay, good. Good. That's helpful. Thank you very much. So listen, I want to thank you for helping me test this webinar and being on here and being interested. I really appreciate that. And I thank you for all the wonderful feedback as well that you're giving me. I really, really appreciate that. And I'm going to send you a survey. Just type in any ideas that you have that I should do some videos on. I will gladly do them, and we'll post them, and we'll do some more live webinars. So I want to thank you all for being on, but I'm going to end off right now, and I want to wish you a good night, and I will see you on the next webinar, and we'll talk to you later. All right, well, awesome. Thanks. We'll see you later. Actually, I'm just going to do the question right now. What ideas do you have for the for